Okay, so we're going to create this slab today in 3D, basically using at least some of the commands we've learned last week using AutoCAD 3D commands. So this is going to be a bit more of a realistic sort of project that you can use. And once you create the slab, then we will also work out its mass. And there are some, this is the sizes of basically what you need to know about the beams and the rebate. Where are we? So once we do that, we'll union it, we'll put it all together. We use the mass prop command to work out its properties. And then in the centroid, we're going to put in a symbol, basically one that you get straight out of AutoCAD palettes. And we'll show you that. And then we're going to work out the volume in cubic meters for the amount of concrete we need, as you would need to know that if you're going to order some concrete, and also for the cost. So it gears you up for, I suppose, cost estimates and things like that as well. Okay, so there's the mass in concrete tons, and that's basically the formula you need to use to work that out. We're going to allow 2.5 tons per cubic meter because that assumes it's got reinforcement in the concrete. Otherwise, it's just 2.4 tons per cubic meter if it's there's no reinforcement. All right, and then we're going to write that on the drawing. And it says here, refer to slab example file PDF to see what it's meant to look like. And if I go over here in our somewhere in here, where are we? It should be under miscellaneous. Where can we find it? Here under MEM 30033A. It should be the slab, because what we're doing with AutoCAD is basically that MEM, getting that out of the way. So that relates to that. So this is it here. So basically when you finish, it should look like this, with a bit of text on there saying what the centroid location is in X, Y and Z. Yours will be different to mine probably, because everyone probably start somewhere differently perhaps, I don't know. The volume should be pretty much the same wherever you draw it. Should be around about that figure, depending if you've done it exactly right or not. And the mass will be that. So it's going to be, you're going to need 59 roughly tons. That's how heavy it is. But the cubic meters, you need 23 cubic meters of concrete when you're ordering it. Okay, so basically that's it. When you hand it up, you just hand up the drawing with the split screen as well, which will show you how to do it as well. Alright, so one screen will show one thing, and the other screen will show perhaps an X-ray vision of this. Alright, let's go back to AutoCAD and follow the instructions here, which basically say you've got to start using the ACAD ISO.dwt template file, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we'll begin a new drawing. I'm just going to start from here, click the big A there, and go new drawing, and I'm going to pick up the ACAD ISO 3D, wherever that is. Here it is, and go open. How am I going to create this? Well, there's probably a number of ways you can create this. First of all, what I want to do is just do the 100mm slab, and there's a number of ways of doing that. One way would be to draw a rectangle and extrude it up, which you haven't used the extrude command before. Or we can use, let me just set my screen back to my 3D. By the way, you should be using the 3D modeling screen, but I've got my workspace saved here as AV-3D, so that's got everything in there, plus it's got my object snaps here. So we're ready to roll now with all the right tools in front of us. I'm going to use the box command instead, which will allow me to give it, it's basically a solid to start with. I am going to begin from a 9 point because it makes it easier for me, but it doesn't matter. In theory, you could click anywhere and start this. Okay, I'm going to go from 0, 0, 0, Notice the third 0 there, which is giving the Z direction, which is basically 0 anyway. So pretty pointless, but we're getting used to using the third, X, Y, and Z as we're going along, just to keep reminding as we're doing 3D. All right, so enter that. So that's the beginning point there. Now, according to my instructions, this thing here is 15 meters in the X and 8 meters in the Y. So I'm going to go shift key at 15,000, 8,000. All right. Now we don't put the Z here because of the nature of the command. The command only wants to know the X and the Y at this point. And then it asks us for the height, which in effect is a Z. All right. So now the height of this thing, we can just type it in. It's 100 millimeters, and we'll press enter. So basically, what we've drawn is that. Now, what we should be really doing is starting to draw things on layers. All right. Not just at the layer that it began with, which is basically layer 0. So retrospective, I should have done this earlier, but perhaps you can do it afterwards anyway. Let's just start thinking about layers. Let's create a couple of layers that we may need. One will be the slab. The other will be the footings, perhaps, or the beams, whatever you want to call them. Anything like that. All right. So I'm going to let's just give this a color. I prefer to use the index colors. It doesn't really matter, but that's the original sort of colors. Okay, let's go with green. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. Okay, let's go with teal or something like that. There you go. That will do, whatever. I may need it later on. I might need a sketch layer because I'm going to do the set downs and stuff like that. So I'll just go create this one a sketch layer. I'll give it a red color and go OK. So that's in addition to what the instructions that are given to you. We're going to do some layering. Make that capital F. Okay. And just go and just close this. Now that I've got my footing there, I can put it in there afterwards. So I just go there and put in my footings. Sorry, what am I doing? It's not footings. It's actually a slab. Here it is. Beautiful. Okay, so that's my slab. That's just sitting just above the ground in theory. All right. So what we need to do next is put in some footings, and there's a couple of ways you can do that as well. But I'm going to use the poly solid to start with. What they're saying it is or here the instructions say the beams are 350 wide but 500 deep. All right. So okay, we'll just basically, and then the beams. If I just flick over to this here, all right. Okay, they're that. One parallel to the 15-meter length, so that's the internal ones, and then the vertical internal ones. There's 2 of them, and they're parallel to the 8-meter length. And what else have we got? And there's rebates. All right. So we just what that means in practice is actually that. What I'm going to do is I can draw that over the top of this, and although we had some issues with it last time, we'll have another go this time and see if it works. But what I might do is draw it to the side and then move it underneath. That might be a bit easier, and you can see what I'm doing as well. Okay, so you don't always have to draw it in situ. So let's do that. Okay, so if I hit the poly solid command, the usual settings you have to do, the height is 500. Enter that. Always in AutoCAD, when you type something in, you've got to press enter. Okay, what else do we need? The width, 350. Enter. And justification, I can click over here. I'm going to go left again as my usual thing. So I'm just going to start this from somewhere, say here. And I'm going to move along. Now, what I'm doing, because I click there, basically what I'm doing, I'm drawing it on the ground, and it's going 500. above ground. But when I move it, I just put it underneath the slab. All right, so I'm going to F8 to get my ortho on, and I'm going to go along 8,000 supposedly, and 15,000 the other way, and 8 this way. Okay, enter, and C for close, enter, typed it in this time. Now always double check your work. Last time I did this, in fact it wasn't right, even though I typed it in. I'm sure it went wrong last time. But let's type, where is the command? There's a command called DI for distance, and I know it's on the home thing on the basic one, but I can't seem to find it here in a hurry. I'm just going to type in DI for distance. There it goes, DI for distance, the top one there, enter. And I'm going. This is a little trick you might want to take note of. I want to work out the width and the length of this thing. So I'm going to go from the corner there to, just take ortho off, F8, to diagonally across. So you're just going to know how to read this thing. Okay, so we've got, it's the same result we had last time with this. I don't know why it does that, but I'm reading the X and the Y result. The Y is right, but the X is wrong. It's 175 wide, and I can't work out why, but anyway, it's basically half the width of the one of the slabs. So if I said to go, I mean, if that was the, if it made it would have made more sense if it was 8175 as well, but it doesn't make any sense to me that only one side is wider than and the other is fine. I don't get it. Okay, so the solution we worked out last time was to delete this and actually draw a rectangle, all right, here first, and this to me seems to be a bug, or I don't know why, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. Obviously I'm doing something wrong. So we draw a rectangle using at 15,000, 8,000. So basically we're just working out the area where we're going to trace over. That's all we're doing. Just for the heck of this, we will put this just so we can see the different color basically under the sketch layer. All right. So let's just hit the layer footing this time around and get it right, footings, and we'll just draw it in the right layer to start with. Let's go with the polysolid. This time I don't have to type anything in because of, in theory, I've got it all set up to start with. It is left justified. All right, so if you can't see, you can, where you're clicking, you can swing around and in the middle of the command. Anyway, there's nothing else that I can latch onto there that's wrong, so I'm just going to go with whatever's there. Close. All right. Now in theory, it's right on top of this thing, so that should be right this time, eh? So let's go with DI for distance. I'll go from the bottom to the bottom again, and it should be the same top and bottom. Okay, so it's fine now. So I don't know what the big deal was, but if I put selection cycling on, which is the second to last one on the bottom of the status bar there, I can go and erase this thing. I'm just going to click E for erase, enter this time, and just click here, and I say I want to get the polyline, just keeping it tidy as we're going along. All right, okay, so now according to the instructions we need to put in some beams along here. Oh, look at that, we're running out of time. We're going to put some beams along here, 2 beams and 1 in the middle. Okay, so I might just do that in the next session so we don't go over time.